AppleWorks was originally written by Bob Listener, who was working for Apple at the time. He wrote a project called 3 Easy Pieces for the Apple III, and he had written a database. He decided to take the database and expand it by adding a spreadsheet and a word processor. So what began as a simple database project evolved into one of the first integrated packages on any computer, and as you know, it was incredibly successful. At one point outselling Lotus 123 somewhere in the range of 40,000 copies per month, making Listener incredibly wealthy, and Apple too. Also, about the time he was working on that, he made some deals with some other people to create Microsoft Works on the Macintosh, and that was derived from AppleWorks. So the line of integrated software on the Mac is also owes its roots back to AppleWorks. AppleWorks 2.0 was written in order to add compatibility with the 2GS and add some new features such as mail merge. In 1987 or thereabouts, Claris made a deal with Beagle Brothers to write AppleWorks 3.0. Rob Renstrom, who had written Timeout Graph, Alan Bird, who had created the spelling checker and thesaurus, and myself, Timeout Ultra Macros, PowerPack, some of those products, were hired by Mark Simonson at Beagle to create AppleWorks 3.0. This project lasted for about half a year or so and was shipped in 1988. In the last half-decade, nothing really has been done about AppleWorks until Joe Gleason came along and decided it was time to provide what the users really needed to take AppleWorks into the 1990s rather than leave it as a relic of the 80s. The most successful product in Apple history is now being released in a new, exciting version, which adds many new features, a great deal of power, and yet retains the simplicity of the original, keeping the ambiance the same. The first product that I actually created and sold was called Grade Aid, a grading package for teachers, which I designed for my fiancée, Joanna Morrison, who later lent her initials to Gem Software. And she was doing her student teaching and toiling over her grades, and I thought the Apple was a perfect way to accelerate that. And eventually a product developed, which several teachers used for years afterward. My first job was also in a school with an Apple II computer, although their lab was primarily TRS-80s. I spent time on the Apple II and developed some other products. Eventually left teaching in order to get into computers full time, and worked at a company for a while where I met Dan Vercade, the co-author of AppleWorks 4.0.
While programming accounting software, I was approached by Randy Brandt to do some programming on the Apple II. For the Timeout series, it was to be released by Beagle Brothers. Since that time, I've done several other Timeout applications, as well as applications for Gem Software.
Eventually, we were contracted with Claris to create AppleWorks 3.0. This product was completed in 1988, and Claris never again updated the product. Although we created new additions such as Double Data and Total Control through Gem Software, and Beagle Brothers released some new products, and when Quality took it over, they released Timeout Grammar, there were enhancements being made. However, I felt much more could be done. At that point, I discussed with Joe Gleason the possibility of creating an AppleWorks 4.0.
The whole project actually began with a phone call by, actually from Randy Brandt back in March of 1993. He called up with the idea of an upgrade for AppleWorks, which at the time he called the mother of all patches for AppleWorks. And unless we got permission from Claris to release it as the official upgrade, it was going to have to be released as an independent patch disk for AppleWorks. Throughout 1993, Randy and Dan Vercade continued to work on the project, and approximately in June, we started talking with Claris seriously about allowing Quality Computers to take over the publishing rights for AppleWorks and to continue to support it, give it the support that we thought we could give it, and the excitement and build the enthusiasm. In August of this year, Quality Computers signed a contract with Claris that will allow us to release the works as AppleWorks 4.0. In the beginning, we had names for it such as Quadriga. That was the code name that all the beta testers signed off on. The first announcement we made about the project publicly was in 2 Alive. We called it The Works. And we're really happy to release it as the official AppleWorks upgrade, AppleWorks 4.0.
I guess the best thing about integrated software is just the ability to be in one application like a database, be able to cut, say, a name and an address out and stick it right inside of a word processor document.
You know, it would be
No
even
need
better
to
than
go,
that.
Boot up another program.
What would be even better than that if someone created a glossary feature in the word processor that could automatically access that database information without even having to switch.
So you wouldn't have to even use a clipboard?
Exactly. You could just press a keystroke and call up a little menu and import the information directly in.
Yeah, that would take integration one step further.
I think it would. What about in the spreadsheet? You've had a lot of experience in the spreadsheet. How does integration affect that?
Well, the same way that we can move from spreadsheet to database to word processor with relative ease, but again, we could take that one step further and be able to use one spreadsheet to look inside another spreadsheet.
So integrating multiple spreadsheets together, not necessarily multiple applications.
That's correct. And even from those multiple spreadsheets, being able to integrate that information into another application.
So what you're saying is you could type in one thing and have it automatically import from other files that are on the desktop without actually having to switch to them?
Absolutely.
One of our key considerations while developing AppleWorks 4.0 was to maintain its ease of use. With all the new features we were putting into it, questions would arise as to where we were going to put them all, and we took pains to ensure that they were done in such a way that the user would not lose the ease of use that was present in prior AppleWorks.
What we did was discuss the different features which we thought were useful, analyze them, do preliminary programming if necessary, and through the process of hard work and time realize what could be accomplished realistically. We felt that we've given you in AppleWorks 4.0 the maximum number of features which could possibly be put in the available space in the time we had to complete this project.
Thanks for upgrading to AppleWorks 4. We're sure you'll find it a worthwhile investment in your computer's future. Version 4 of AppleWorks features major enhancements to every facet of the program's operation, while maintaining the ease of use AppleWorks is famous for. In the database, the relational import and export features make it possible to look up information in another database. For example, you can automatically get a student's name from your master student list when you type in a student ID, or fetch an item description from your inventory database when you type a part number. Your changes can be automatically exported to update your master database. You can even enter difficult-to-remember information from a pop-up glossary. Masks let you enter formatted information like phone numbers with ease and consistency. And the new calculated categories with their new, more powerful formulas let you perform spreadsheet-style manipulations on your data.
The database had remained largely unchanged since AppleWorks version 1.0, so we made that a focus of our attention in this version.
One of the exciting new database features is the expansion from 30 categories per record to 60. At the same time, we added 2.5 times the amount of space for each individual record and also increased the number of reports from 20 to 30.
The spreadsheet also gets relational features. That's right, your formulas can now access cells in more than one spreadsheet.
The spreadsheet was improved with such features as 3D import, the ability to look into another spreadsheet. We realized the spreadsheet needed the 3D feature to bring it in line with the 1990s.
And new date math features, text handling functions, and find and replace give AppleWorks the power you need to perform sophisticated projections and calculations. In the word processor, a glossary feature lets you import names and addresses or other information from a database and format them according to your specifications.
This is something I saw in a Macintosh program, realized how useful it was, and also realized we could do an even better version of it in AppleWorks so that Apple II users could have even more power than Macintosh users trying to do the same thing.
And a split window feature lets you work in one part of a document while keeping your eye on another. Outside of its 3 modules, AppleWorks features even more power, including 3 desktops that can hold up to 36 files, 3 independent clipboards, and the ability to edit them directly, and a complete set of disk and file maintenance utilities, plus built-in timeout and init manager make adding more new features a breeze. In all, there are literally more than 100 new features in AppleWorks 4. And the built-in macro player adds even more open-ended power. Now you can harness the power of AppleWorks with a touch of a key. Macros are pre-compiled sets of keystrokes and commands that you initiate from a menu or by pressing one simple key combination.
For example, simply pressing a key combination could allow you to print a document without answering any of the questions normally asked. By the same token, one can press a key and add files to the desktop, again with only one keystroke.
Dozens of useful one-touch commands are included, and many more are available on the One-Touch Commands disk and from third parties. You can even create your own one-touch commands with optional Ultra Macros package. The more you use AppleWorks 4, the more you'll understand why we call it the most significant AppleWorks upgrade in history. More power, more speed, better integration. With an Apple II and AppleWorks 4, your Apple will work harder than ever for you.
AppleWorks is already a terrific program. AppleWorks 4 makes a classic even better. But there are some things the program simply isn't designed to do. That's why AppleWorks 4 includes Timeout. With Timeout, it's simple to add new features and capabilities to AppleWorks. Since you never have to leave AppleWorks, Timeout applications are quick and easy to use. Just press Open Apple Escape to bring up the Timeout menu and choose the applications you want to use. When you're done, you're back in the document without missing a beat. Are you envious of the printouts produced by your friends who own Macintosh computers? Timeout Superfonts can help cure Mac envy. With Superfonts, you can print your word processor documents in a variety of type styles and sizes. The high-quality printing option uses your printer's highest resolution to produce amazing printouts. Superfonts uses standard Apple IIgs fonts, but works on any Apple that can run AppleWorks. It lets you include your graphics in your printouts, too. If you write a lot, you probably keep a thesaurus on your desk. With Timeout Thesaurus, the right word is always at your fingertips because the thesaurus is inside your computer. Just put the cursor on a word, select Timeout Thesaurus from the menu, and choose from the list of related words that appears. Nothing could be easier. Another valuable writing tool is Timeout Grammar. It's a punctuation and style checker for AppleWorks. It can find misplaced punctuation and check your document for pompous, wordy, and unclear writing. An extensive style database ensures that your writing is as good as it can be. You can turn different categories of checking on and off to perfectly customize Timeout Grammar to your own style. And you can easily add your own words and phrases to the style database. Best of all, it leaves you in control of your own writing because you always have the final say about the program's advice. Are you tired of typing the same things over and over again? Would you like to create your own one-touch commands like the ones included with AppleWorks 4? With Timeout Ultra Macros, you can record your keystrokes and assign them to a simple keystroke. You don't have to know anything about programming. Just tell Ultra Macros to watch what you do, and it does the rest. A sophisticated but easy-to-learn programming language is also included, along with plenty of examples to get you started. Best of all, you can distribute your key sequences and macro programs to other AppleWorks 4 users. Any AppleWorks 4 owner can use them, even if they don't own Ultra Macros. Timeout Report Writer extends AppleWorks database module to provide unprecedented reporting flexibility. If you're running up against the barriers of AppleWorks table and label report formats, Report Writer will shatter those barriers. It's perfect for creating invoices, report cards, and any other report that requires coordinating a lot of data. And if you're looking to add a little more visual impact to your dry, boring numbers, Timeout Graph can help. With Graph, you can convert your spreadsheets to several different styles of charts and graphs. It's fast and easy to use. In minutes, you'll have attention-grabbing graphs that will make people stand up and take notice. And if you have super fonts, you can include these graphs in your letters and reports. If you like the idea of one-touch commands but don't feel up to programming your own, check out our supplementary one-touch commands disk. Using the Ultra Macros player built into AppleWorks, these new commands will speed your work by adding dozens of new features, such as two-sided printing in the word processor and one-touch commands to print all the documents on your desktop. You won't believe the power. Ever wanted to design your own forms? Timeout Superforms gives you the power. You can design your forms right on the screen, drawing lines and boxes, adding headings, and finally printing the completed form on your printer. The included form filler program can print data right on your forms. It's the best way to add a professional flair to your printed reports. If you do a lot of number crunching, you'll find Timeout SideSpread invaluable. Instead of making you print your wide spreadsheets across several pages, SideSpread turns the tables and prints your documents rotated 90 degrees. Now your spreadsheets can be as wide as you need without the frustration of taping all those pages together. Two attractive typefaces give your numbers extra punch. If you need even more power, Timeout Desk Tools 4 combines the best of the popular Desk Tools 1 and 2 packages to give you a calculator, print preview, file search, measurement converter, calendar, and area code finder. And the brand new Timeout Shrink It Plus package brings data compression inside AppleWorks to reduce the disk space required by files as much as 50%. Both of these packages work inside AppleWorks for unmatched speed and flexibility. Animated screen blankers come to AppleWorks with Afterwork. After a long period of displaying a picture, the image can become burned into your monitor. Afterwork prevents this problem by giving your screen something visually interesting to do while you're away from the keyboard. It also serves as a reminder that you've left your computer on, and of course, it's just plain fun. While AppleWorks 4 will run on any Apple IIe, 2C, or 2GS with 128K or more, you may want to consider expanding your memory. The benefits of memory expansion are many. First, with 256K or more, you'll be able to use AppleWorks 4's macro player. This will allow you to use the dozens of useful one-touch commands included on the AppleWorks disk. With a little more memory, AppleWorks will preload entirely into memory at startup, virtually eliminating disk swapping as you work. You could also copy the spelling checker dictionaries to a RAM disk, which will make the spell checker more than twice as fast. Naturally, you'll also be able to load more and larger files into AppleWorks. You'll encounter fewer desktop is full messages, and you'll be able to take full advantage of the wide variety of AppleWorks add-ons. The QRAM 2E and QRAM GS are economical memory upgrades that work perfectly with AppleWorks. Just install a card into the Apple IIe auxiliary slot or the Apple II GS memory expansion slot, and you'll instantly have a full megabyte of memory in your 2E, or even 4 megabytes in your 2GS. If you're tired of waiting for your printer to finish, try a printer buffer. An inexpensive 32K buffer fits inside older model ImageWriter 2 printers and can store 10 or more pages of text. When you print, the computer sends your document to the printer almost instantly, freeing you to do more work on the computer, even while the printer continues to work. If you have some other model of printer, external buffers are also available. Call us for details. AppleWorks 4 is the most extensive AppleWorks upgrade in history. To help you get the most out of it, we created a brand new videotape titled Exploring AppleWorks 4. This video is full of useful new tips. The designers of AppleWorks 4, Randy Brandt and Dan Vercade, demonstrate all the program's major new features, and Walker Archer of Quality Computers Technical Support gives you some valuable pointers on using all of AppleWorks features together. Be sure to check the AppleWorks Enhancements catalog included with your AppleWorks package. You'll find detailed descriptions and special deals on the timeout line and the other upgrades I've been talking about. Call our sales representatives at 1-800-777-3642 for more information or to place an order. With version 4 and a few enhancements, AppleWorks has never been better.
Quality Computers, America's favorite mail-order retailer of educational products, is proud to serve America's schools. Founded in 1984, Quality Computers rapidly earned a reputation for outstanding service and support. Today, this service and support is part of a tradition that has kept Quality Computers customers coming back for nearly a decade. You can count on our knowledgeable and courteous sales representatives to recommend the products that perfectly suit your needs and your budget. And with our $1 million inventory, you can be sure that what you need is always in stock. Our state-of-the-art order processing system ensures that most orders placed by 3 p.m. ship the same day, and optional Federal Express overnight shipping is surprisingly affordable. In addition to carrying hundreds of products manufactured by all the major educational companies, Quality Computers also manufactures its own line of peripherals, including the highly rated Q Drive, Q RAM memory expansion, and Q modem, and publishes the Beagle Brothers and Q Labs software labels, including the popular Timeout series, Platinum Paint, Signature, and RepairWorks. For educators, Quality Computers publishes Enhance, a quarterly newsletter featuring articles on fundraising, grant writing, and school effectiveness, plus hands-on tips on networking, cross-platform computing, and multimedia, reviews of the latest educational technology products, and our complete educational catalog. And it's free. Call Quality Computers today at 1-800-777-3642 to experience the Quality Computers difference for yourself.
When the files are loaded, we can then tab through the desktops. If we'd like to see all of them, simply pressing Apple V gives us a screen displaying all 3 desktops, the types of the files, and also the total size that each desktop uses up.
In this case, we're simply going to subtract them. We'll add 2 dates, turn each one into a Julian date, and subtract them. Then type in your formula. We'll use that date to joule since we want to convert an AppleWorks date into a Julian date.
Reviewing, we've now defined a glossary file which will list all occurrences in the category state, allowing us to make a choice. When we make that choice, the result will be returned from the abbreviation category. Above the dividing line, the text is frozen. Think of it as titles like in the spreadsheet or database. I can now scroll up and down, use AppleWorks features normally, but the information I had in the top window is there fixed until I leave the word processor file.
Notice how the name Dan was replaced with the name Joe. Find the next occurrence. Let's see if there are any more. Sure enough, we had a search and replacement.
Another example of a macro is a simple one to begin a letter. Let's move into our word processor file, call up the option escape menu, and choose begin a letter. Pressing return, the current date is entered in, the return address, and you simply address the letter at this point.
Type in a few of these records, and I'll show you how easy it is. Just open Apple G on that, and it fills in the name. Open Apple G again for quiz number 1, and it fills in the project name. We'll give him an 89, and again, the grade automatically calculates.
It's nice and peaceful out here, isn't it? The sun going down.
Wonderful. It's great.
You all dried off from your swim?
Yep. All nice and dry, and yeah, it's a fun day relaxing.
Yeah, six-wheeling was a lot of fun for me, throwing up some dirt,
Yeah.
jumping into the creek with Joe with that thing, getting winched out. That was great.
Yeah. I thought we were done, too, until we had to go over those ads today.
Oh, yeah,
That was
a
the
lot
one
of
bad
work.
thing about the day.
It's nice to wrap things up after doing the boating and that, get a little work done, but then be done with the work for a while.
Oh, yeah, it's great. In fact, I see a lot more days like this ahead of me.
In the near future?
Oh, yeah, very near future.
Well, I think you can have one or two, but...
I'm talking about a week's worth.
No,
2
no, no,
weeks.
no. See, there's a little problem we have, Dan.
Oh,
I've got
yeah,
something
what's
in mind
that?
for you. AppleWorks 5.0.
Oh, no.
You got it.
No.
Here's the outline, buddy. Go to work.
No. No.